Hello and welcome to the gun shop. We're sat at a desk today, it's a little bit different. We're here to help you, talk you through this, the firearms application form, the shotgun application form, all done on the same form. The first few pages of the form is 15 pages long. The first 11 pages are the firearms application form, and the last 3 are notes. It actually says to read these 3 pages before you complete the thing. Sense would say put that at the front. However, we'll work our way through front page to back page and we'll get to the notes eventually. But read the notes first. Obviously very important. It's a bit like the test when you were a kid that you heard about that, the last question was leave all the other questions blank for 100% or something like that. Anyway, let's go. Application for the grant on your firearm or shotgun certificate. There's an and or there, of course. So the first page, as you'll see it, starts with the heading and then goes into I'm applying for. For the purpose of this video, we are going to fill out this form-ish in a manner for a coterminous firearm and shotgun certificate. For those of you who want shotgun certificate only, drop the firearms part. For those of you who want firearms only, drop the shotgun part. That's it. Why not apply for both if you can and have due reason to do so? Save yourself 86 quid, something. I think it's £88 for a grant and £90 for a coterminous. So yeah, if you are going to apply for both, let's do it all at once. So part A, all about yourself. This is really simple for those of you who don't really understand this. This is probably where you should stop, but you know, the gender, male, female, take your pick. Title, surname, forenames, your home address, postcode, home number, mobile number, home email, your height. This is obviously because when they pull you on file and have your name and your photograph, it says you're 5'7" and you're actually a 6'7" bloke standing next to you. I'm pretty sure that's something to do with it. I'm not 100% sure, but it's all to do with that. Date of birth, place of birth, nationality, occupation, work address, postcode, work telephone number, and work email. Basically everything about you so they can research you, find out whether you're crazy, allowed a license, so they can contact you at work, can contact you at home, and generally just so they got information about you so you are contactable if they ever need to contact you in regards to this, once it comes and it's actually a firearms license. Part B, personal health and medical declaration. You should download the notes package with this. You shouldn't fill it out without the notes package. The notes package is far more concise than what I'm offering you now. However, I'm just going to talk you through it as it is to try and help from my perspective without essentially just giving you an audiobook of the notes. Read notes 4 to 12 before completion. These notes essentially, there's question 10, very important. Do you suffer with any relevant medical conditions? Depression, that sort of thing. If so, you probably won't be allowed a license. It's also to do with your medical history. You have to disclose this because after this, details of your GP or GP practice, they will contact your GP who will tell them if you've had depression, if you're schizophrenic, that sort of thing. There's a high chance you will not get a license. The whole point of this licensing is to make everybody else safe. So if they deem you as a threat or a possible threat or an irresponsible human being, you won't get one. However, unfortunately, there's a lot of medical grounds where you can't really have a shotgun license either, PTSD, that sort of thing. I know there have been reasons people have been stopped from having it. So you go on to fill out your GP. A lot of people don't go to their GP, especially in their sort of 20s to 30s. Most people try and avoid it like the plague. So la-di-da. If you've had a previous GP practice from the past 10 years, fill out the next bit. So on and so forth. There's a bit at the bottom which says I give my police permission to contact my GP and or specialist to obtain factual details of any medical history in relation to my suitability to possess a firearms shotgun certificate. Essentially, sign the bottom away so that they can get to talk to your doctor. If you don't sign this, they won't contact your doctor, but if they then even get to the stage where they come and see you, they're going to ask why. You shouldn't have anything to hide. It's a legal thing, so don't hide anything, because they'll find out. I know a few people who have tried to hide stuff. Which leads us on to this. The next page you fill out. Offences. Quite simple here. Have you been convicted of any offence, including speeding, drink driving, anything like that? Parking offences, that sort of thing. Tick yes. If so, fill out the next form. I know people with speeding there, drink driving. There's a lot of reasons why you have to fill out this side that don't make you you are a criminal, unfortunately, but don't make you a bad person. So, bad person aside, you fill out this, or you don't fill this out, you tick the no and you move on. However, if you have things, put them down, like I say with the other part with the doctor, they will find out a lot about you from your previous addresses, all the things you've filled out on this past page, and you come into here and you've lied. They're going to come to your house and says, so what about that time you did X, hit a copper, got caught drink driving, set fire to your school shed 45 years ago, that sort of thing. That is interesting to them. You know, I know a lot of people with previous convictions who have licences, not big ones obviously, they're not banned from owning firearms. However, it's about proving that you've changed. If it was 20 years ago and you got in a bit of a rut when you were 18 on the town, you're now 48 or whatever, so 30 years later, there's a real chance that that's not going to be forgiven. You'll probably receive some sort of lecture on it. However, in 30 years people can change quite a lot, obviously, and it's all about proving that you have changed. Next, your previous home addresses, so they can search you up to clarify Part C offences, which leads us on to page 3. Page 3 is for firearms only. Those who are applying for a shotgun certificate don't need to fill this out. Quite simply here, we have Part D firearm details. Any firearms currently held? The chances are if you're applying for a grant, the answer is none. If you're applying for a renewal, you click yes and you write what you already own in there. You might own a 243 and a treble 250, you stick those in there. Next, and this is probably the most important question, 15, for those applying for an application as opposed to a renewal, for a grant, sorry, not a renewal. No, applying for a grant. Here it is, question 15. This is the important one. This is where you fill out what you want. When it says caliber, obviously that's the caliber of the thing. The type, rifle, sound moderator. Barrel, spare barrel. Say if you're buying something like a Blazer, you want to have the rifle but you want to buy a spare barrel to put on it, I don't know. And the reason. So for example here you would put caliber, I want a .22 type, bolt action. Reason, target shooting at X club, membership attached. .22 sound moderator, reason, target shooting, club, membership attached, brackets, noise control, that sort of thing. Next you go, treble 250, 270, whatever you want. Type, bolt action, and a sound moderator. So you fill out both. Always put both. If you want a sound moderator, make sure you put a sound moderator on here because they're not going to magic you one. They might, when you come around to interview, suggest that you have one, especially if you're applying for a grant on new land that hasn't been vetted. They will probably come and check it and say, we want you to have a moderator on this land because there's X amount of houses over there and we don't want to annoy them. Again, something they can't legally do, however, something that I have heard of done, suggested, recommended, and it's usually worth going with the recommendations. You don't want to fight the firearms department. It's not going to help. I know I've got a pen, I'm not actually writing anything on here. Anyway, so on this one you go, I'm going to do it on Manor Farm, White House Farm, White Horse Farm, wherever you want to do it. Whatever farm you have or land you have, permission to go and shoot X stalking syndicate, you write that in here. Please provide land club details, that will be the name of the club, la-di-da, and it's usually worth putting C appendix whatever and staple them together, the letter from your landowner, the map, this sort of thing, and staple it to back, say this is me, this is everything, because you want it to be watertight. I know a lot of people have applied for grants who have put in and then they don't put enough detail, they just go, well, I'm shooting with Barry. Well, who the hell's Barry? Barry's mate owns this farm, you shoot on his farm, you need to go to Barry's mate who owns the farm, whatever his name may be, get his name, get the land details, and get a letter from him saying you're a bona fide shooter on his land. Boom. This is quite important. A bit like the shoot, you'll want, a bit like shooting at a target, you'll want the membership on there. And that's that. Just make sure you put moderators, barrels, rifles, whatever. You don't need to put bolt action, for example, though that's not a bad idea. You don't need, you know, if you want to buy a straight ball, buy a straight ball, but just type rifle. Simple as that. Obviously, section 1 shotgun, you go caliber, 12 bore type, shotgun, section 1 high capacity shotgun, reason, vermin control, so on and so forth. It's usually worth putting in, if you're going to go for something a bit like a 243, to put what you want it for. I want deer on this land, but I also want it for foxes whilst out stalking, and I would also like it for zeroing on ranges. If you fill all this out, it's very likely you're going to get that anyway, but the more thorough you are at this stage, the easier it's going to be later on to justify what you want. When he's come around, he's already read that you kind of know what's going on. I think that's important to do. Also, you know, fill out as much as you want. If you're going for a grant, you might as well have a few rifles. I personally would say you don't need them, but take what you want, do what you need. So let's moving on. We are on to page 16. Page 4, question 16. It's not a question really, is it? Details the maximum amount of ammunition to be possessed. This used to be a two-parter. You used to have a maximum amount to buy, maximum amount to keep. Now they just do it as a maximum amount to be possessed. So you can come to a gun shop and you can go, I want all 200 rounds. But if you've got one round at home, you're all broken the law. If they then come round as soon as you come home and see you've got 201 rounds, not 200, you're probably going to lose your license. So it's very much down to you to police how much ammunition you have. Because it used to be, for example, I want to buy 200 and keep 300, so I could buy my 200, wait till I've gone down to 100 and go and buy another 200 up to 300 and work my way down to 100 again. Now it's a case of what you want. Never be too shy to put too much ammunition here. You know, I've seen licenses permission to keep 40 rounds. It's not a lot of bullets. And it is a lot of ammunition. I mean, that's quite a considerable amount of 300 Win Mag or whatever to go and buy. But boxes, for example, are in 200s, so you'll generally get a slightly better rate on a 200 carton if you're going to buy 200 rounds, and that's, well, some people that's not an annual supply, some people that's 10 years supply, but you never want to be caught short. You don't have to max it out, but at the same time, if there's an offer or you want to go and shoot down the range and you then have to go, I've got to buy 40 rounds, but I'm going to spend all day down the range and I'm going to shoot more than 40, then I've got to go back to the gun shop to get some ammo to go back out and shoot some foxes. 40 rounds isn't a lot. Obviously it depends what you want to do. If you're shooting a lot of targets, you'll probably want to own X amount of, up to 500. But 200 is a sort of a generally large amount for most centerfire rifles, unless you are target shooting, in which case have what you want. This is also the place to put heads. If you're going to reload and you want expanding heads, put it as, so you've got caliber, metric or imperial, .270, for example, quantity 200, and then you'll go caliber, .270, expanding missile, quantity 200 missiles, or whatever you want. So just make sure, again, you're as thorough as possible with what you want, looking to the future perhaps as well as the past, or the present. So if you don't want to reload in the future and you're sure about that, don't put it on. But if you might consider reloading in the next 5 years, do it, buy it, stick it on the ticket. Simple as that. Always remember, with rimfire you get bricks of 500, so 500, 1,000 to keep, whatever you want, and you will burn through more rimfire as a matter of target shooting practice and vermin control. You'll shoot 20 rabbits perhaps, but you'll only shoot 1 deer a day. You might shoot more, don't get me wrong, but that's a sort of a ratio you might expect on bullets to use. You will use more rimfire, plus it's cheaper, so it's better for shooting targets and practice with. Especially if you're going to go into stuff like prone rifle, you want to be definitely up in the 1,500, 2,000 mark, because you're going to buy batches of 1,000. Obviously this is all specific, and if you've got any questions about that, please ask below, and we're here to help as much as possible. It's the whole point of this video. We get a lot of people coming in asking us to help fill out these because they're confused, they don't really know a few answers to questions. This is the reason for this video, is to stop people coming in and asking for help. But you know what I mean, it's to try and make everybody's lives a little bit easier. Question 17. Details of your current, in the case of grant, proposed security arrangement. Where your cabinet is, do you have a cabinet, is it being kept in a gun room, are you keeping it in a gun shop, so on and so forth. Make sure before the man comes around to your house you buy a cabinet and put it in. If he's coming to your house, it's very likely you've got a grant. So a lot of people we get in here go, I don't want to buy a cabinet until he comes around, make sure I've got my certificates, I don't want to waste £200. It's not a waste of £200, buy a £200 cabinet, bolt it in. If he's coming round, he's going to have it. If you're worried about not getting it, you've probably done something in the past, maybe there is an opportunity there. However, for the most people, you are very likely to be granted your licence if all of these questions actually are realistic. If you go, well, if it says, oh, I want a 300 Win Mag, reason, shooting foxes, where on my quarter-acre garden in the middle of Birmingham, it's unlikely they're going to give it to you. However, genuine reasons, they don't genuinely come up with any reasons you shouldn't own it. Perhaps they make you drop caliber, la-di-da-di-da, and they might suggest a few others, but for the most part they're quite reasonable. Anyway, this is all very simple. If you share the security with another security holder and your ammunition storage, separate safe. Obviously with a firearms license you need to keep all your section 1 ammunition safe, in an ammo safe away from your rifle. With the shotgun, it just needs to be kept vaguely secure, you know, don't leave it on your front doorstep. However, out of sight, out of mind, somewhere safe and inaccessible. Usually and definitely somewhere different to the gun. Next, page 5. Application for the grant, renewal of a shotgun certificate. We're going for a grant, put none. If you own guns already, put them in there. Again, propose security arrangements, much like the other. Obviously, if you've filled one out, fill the other one out. It's important. Just write the same answers. It makes your life easy. Any additional information? Write it on this blank page. Everybody loves a blank page, page 6. Declaration on page 7. I hereby apply for my firearms and shotgun certificate. You read this is quite important. Basically, this is declaring that you are not lying on any part. This is the legal or inciting part. Read through everything you have written before you sign this. I know people have misspelled their names, put the date of birth wrong. Also, make sure it's legible. Legibility is quite important. If you can't read or write, that's nothing to be particularly ashamed of. Get someone else to fill it out for you. If you can read and write, yet your writing is like some sort of Salvador Dali artwork, give your pen to someone else and ask them to scribe for you. So here we go. I've enclosed the fee, £88. I've enclosed 4 identical photographs. I have read notes 12 to 15. Make sure you read the notes, it's quite important. I provided details of referees, we'll get to that, and I signed the medical consent on page 1. I say you don't have to sign it, but if you don't sign it, it's unlikely you're going to get your licence and they're going to come around you wasting police time. They're all stretched. All firearms departments are stretched as it is, so please do not waste their time. Okay, moving on. Oh yeah, if you're under 18, your parent or guardian needs to sign it. Referees. Obviously you need 1 referee for a shotgun and you need 2 for a firearms certificate. So, find a referee, someone you have known for more than 2 years. Used to be someone of upstanding quality, but you know, as long as it's not Jack the Ripper, you're usually pretty safe. As long as it's better to have somebody respectable. You can't use firearms dealers, and there's a list of people you can't use, serving policemen, that sort of thing. However, read the notes, get your referees. Second referee. Page 10. The Firearms Department hate the forests of the world. Page 10 is left intentionally blank. Page 11. Part H, the Equality Questionnaire. Personally, I think this is entirely useless, but fill it out. You know, it is optional. Number question 1 is, I would prefer not to answer any of the following questions. So if you don't want to answer them, don't answer them. However, for the sake of it, it keeps them happy, and you know, what have you got to be scared of? Ethnic group, 6 options of an ethnic group, 3 options of a gender, and age groups, and there's 10 or 11 age groups. However, there's boxes that say you can say you prefer not to say on any of those questions. That's unexciting. Do you have a disability is question 2. Say 5 questions. 4 questions if you discount, I prefer not to answer any of the following questions, all with the option I prefer not to say. They're not too pressing.